John Carter is my name. Despite not coming from a wealthy family, I grew up in a loving and modest household. My mom dedicated herself to maintaining our home, while my dad worked for a financial firm. Being surrounded by my parents gave me a lot of strength. I felt silently thankful for my life every time I witnessed my family helping one another. I became interested in stock trading in high school, influenced by my father. Naturally, I had very little money, so I began with $3,000 that I had saved up from my part-time job wages. Those close to me took notice of my decision to invest in stocks at that age. I had a mediocre academic and athletic record, so the world of stocks was a fresh source of enthusiasm for me. Mike, a classmate, didn't appear to appreciate my success, though. According to what I've heard, Mike's father was also employed in banking, but he was employed by a large, reputable bank, unlike my dad. Due to his affluent upbringing, Mike frequently exhibited a self-assured and patronizing demeanor. He regarded me with contempt, and his eyes were continually raised. He viewed himself as superior to others and became self-satisfied. So, it's likely that he didn't like that I was gaining attention for my stock trading. Speaking with him revealed this mentality. I was hanging out with my pals in the schoolyard during lunch one day when Mike came up to us. "What are you doing here, John? Are you attempting to flaunt your small stock investing skills once more?" he said, grinning smugly. When I turned around, I remained calm and didn't fall for the ruse. "Just talking about a TV show I watched yesterday. Nothing major. Is there something wrong with that?" Mike, however, was not pleased with my composure and continued to use derogatory language. "You're lying. From a mile away, I could hear it. Why, at your age, are stocks of interest to you? Instead, concentrate on more practical matters." Condescension was evident in everything he said. I had to deal with his attitude every day. He appeared to make his presence known by agitating others and enforcing his opinions. I remained calm and didn't react to his provocations. I felt that wasting energy on someone like him was stupid. Maybe that's why Mike kept bothering me. "What do you mean by realistic things?" I inquired, without falling for the ruse. "Well, something that demonstrates the excellence of humanity. The following test should be a score duel. I don't mind, but what will you do if you lose?" "I can't possibly lose to you, but I'll do anything you want if I lose," he declared with assurance. In the end, Mike won this duel handily. After all, I was absorbed with stocks and spending time with my friends, whereas Mike spent most of his after-school hours studying and working with tutors. I gave Mike some words of praise and returned to talking with my companions. Even though Mike boasted about his victory, which I honestly didn't care about, he often boasted about what he had, showing off expensive shoes and the latest gadgets to assert his superiority. By then, however, I had earned enough from stocks to afford those things anytime, so his attitude felt merely empty to me. I tried to keep my distance from the troublesome Mike as much as possible. However, he resisted this distancing, becoming even more persistent in bothering me and those around me. His provocations and boasting escalated, and I began to feel uncomfortable in his presence. So, when graduation came, while it was sad to part ways with friends, the joy of finally getting away from Mike was greater. After high school, I went to college to study economics. I didn't know what job I would end up with, but I intended to stay involved with investments in some form, so I looked forward to deepening my knowledge. As expected, my college economics classes significantly broadened my perspective as an investor. Learning the basics of macroeconomics and microeconomics and understanding the effects of various factors on markets and businesses allowed me to make more accurate investment decisions. Additionally, taking specialized classes in finance and investment theory, I learned about the importance of risk management and asset allocation. For someone like me, who generally favored aggressive investments, the concept of risk hedging was an eye-opener. Through studying past financial market trends and investor behaviors, I acquired methods for analyzing market characteristics and fluctuating factors. This knowledge and skill set proved to be very useful in my stock investment endeavors. During my college years, I joined an investment club to deepen my discussions and exchange information about investments. For me, the attraction of this college was to have such a unique club. In conversations with these members, we passionately and sometimes humorously discuss stock market trends and investment strategies every day. Recently, I've been using technical analysis to predict stock market trends using moving averages and Bollinger Bands. It makes it easier to spot trend changes, support lines, and resistance lines. When the club members would say, "True, technical analysis is useful for grasping market trends, but don't overlook the fundamentals." Another friend responded, "Right. Analyzing a company's financial health, performance, and industry trends to assess the fair value of a stock is crucial. That's why I'm more of a fundamentals guy." Then I would chime in with my opinion. Having such discussions about investments was refreshing and appealing to me. That's probably why the 4 years of college flew by in no time. However, there was one event in my college days that had nothing to do with college. It was on my 21st birthday. As my 21st birthday approached, I prepared with my family and friends for the day. I was looking forward to my big 21st birthday party with my family and friends. I arrived at the party venue and waited for my friends. Celebrating with friends I hadn't seen in a while, I was filled with strange feeling, wondering if I had somewhat matured. I was having a great time with my friends. Man, we really have a lot of memories, don't we? When my friend said, "By the way, John, are you still into stocks?" "Yeah, I've continued since high school, though the amount I handle has changed quite a bit." "How much are you managing now?" "Well, I started with a few thousand, but now it's over 1 million. "What, really?" "Hey, everyone, listen, John is—" "Hey, stop it. I don't want people to know I'm doing stocks now, and I don't want to brag about being successful." "Why not?" "You could boast about it, and it would attract girls." "That's what I hate. If people start flocking to me for money, that's the end of it. I'd rather be underestimated." "Man, you're still weird as ever," my friend continued to mutter. Then, suddenly, a familiar face from high school appeared, though not a pleasant memory for me. "Hey, long time no see, John." I inwardly grimaced as his voice reached my ears. Mike's manner of speaking still carried the same arrogant air as before. "Well, Mike, right? Long time no see," I responded with minimal courtesy, but I felt complicated about seeing Mike again. Mike was someone who antagonized me in high school and frequently harassed me. Whether he remembered that or not, I was slightly irritated by his audacity to speak to me as if nothing had happened. "Long time since high school, huh? So, John, what are you up to now?" Mike asked with a faint smile. "Me? I'm just attending a lower-tier college while working part-time." "Is that so? You don't make much money anyway, do you?" Mike's words were tinged with sarcasm, but I answered calmly, "Yeah, it's just pocket money." "So, what have you been up to since graduating high school?" I wasn't really interested, but now that I was officially an adult, I felt obliged to exchange pleasantries. "Me? I'm a leader in the tennis club, met my girlfriend there. So yeah, things are going smoothly. How about you, John? Got a girlfriend?" "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have asked," he said, as you'd expect. "I don't have one. It's hard to find a woman who wants to be with a guy like me, though." I said that I had actually dated over 5 people since starting college. Talking about such things to Mike wouldn't benefit me at all. "You really are a pitiful guy. Hey, I'll introduce you to a girl next time." "So, you must be thinking about jobs now, right? What are you planning to do?" "Well, I don't know. I don't really have anything I want to do, so maybe I'll just be a part-time worker." As if calling out my bluff, a friend next to me glared at me, but I pretended not to notice and looked back at Mike. "Aren't you miserable with yourself?" "If I were you, John, I'd be in despair." "Well, I've already got an offer from a major bank, so I only have hope." "Well, that's impressive. I'm really envious. Maybe I'll catch some of your crumbs someday." I ended the conversation with him and returned to chatting with my other friends. Mike still had a smug look on his face, but his ego seemed well satisfied. This reunion with Mike was meaningless to me and painfully reminded me that nothing had changed in our relationship. Thus, my 21st birthday party was slightly marred by Mike's presence. Back in college, perhaps due to lingering resentment toward Mike, I immersed myself even more in the world of stocks. My stock investment steadily yielded results. Between classes and club activities, I tracked market trends and sought investment opportunities. As a result, my assets grew steadily, especially at one point when a significant profit was made due to a surge in the stock price of a particular company which had developed a new technology and was attracting market attention. I had assessed the potential of this technology and bought shares, which led to a rapid increase in my wealth when the stock price soared. Lately, tech stocks have been doing well, John. Have you noticed any companies in particular? A club member asked me. Yeah, recently fields like artificial intelligence and cloud computing seem to be thriving. Particularly, a startup has developed innovative technology that's making a significant impact on the market. I've actually made a decent profit from it, I shared, and the members listened with keen interest. That's fascinating. So, technological innovation is key to investment, one said. I should have jumped on that earlier, another added. True, but we also need to be cautious of sudden crashes. I warned. The members nodded to my words and deepened discussion. That was how we exchanged information and shared ideas in the club. At the time, before I knew it, by the time of my graduation, my assets had grown to over $4 million. This was a great source of confidence and achievement for me, broadening my prospects for the future. Interestingly, a large portion of that wealth was deposited with a major bank where Mike was employed. The thought of it being Mike's workplace was somewhat bitter, but I continued using it as the funds flow was smoothest with that bank. Eventually, I graduated from college. I considered working at a securities or investment firm, but that would have restricted my personal stock trading, so I decided not to take a job and live as a full-time trader instead. As an investor, my days were busy, constantly assessing the market and strategizing, using various trading methods like day trading and swing trading. I continued to accumulate profits and grow my wealth. By the age of 28, my total assets had reached several tens of millions of dollars. Of course, there were tough times. One day, a significant challenge hit my career as an investor. A sharp decline in the stock prices I held caused substantial losses, drastically reducing my wealth. This sudden downturn deeply affected me, contrasting starkly with my previous successes. To recover the losses, I conducted thorough market analysis and revised my strategies, persevering day by day. However, the market remained tough, and my efforts were slow to pay off. During these difficult times, I battled with anxiety and self-doubt. However, I remained determined to overcome adversity, never giving up and continually moving forward to recover the losses and achieve success again. I motivated myself and resolved to keep facing the market. I believed that adversity was an opportunity for growth and that these experiences would further refine my career as an investor. Eventually, the market improved, aided by government support, and I managed to overcome the crisis. In fact, after surmounting these difficulties, my assets recorded their most significant growth. Through these ups and downs, I managed to reach where I am today. During my busy days as a trader, I received a letter. Upon opening it, I found it was an invitation to a wedding for Mike. Receiving the wedding invitation stirred complex emotions within me. Memories of past conflicts with Mike flashed through my mind, causing inner turmoil about attending the wedding and wondering why he would invite me. I called a high school friend to discuss it. Hey, I got a wedding invitation for Mike. Did you get one too? No, I haven't received anything. Maybe he likes you. If he liked me, he wouldn't behave like that. I wonder if he wants me there just to show off. That might be overthinking it. Just go. If anything happens, you can always leave. You're right. It's an invitation to a celebration. After all, it would be rude to outright reject it. While agreeing with my friend, I continue to harbor uneasy feelings. The fear that my relationship with Mike might reignite on the wedding day. I felt a mix of anxiety and anticipation as I headed to the venue. Mike might have matured and reflected on his past behavior, but knowing him, significant change seemed unlikely. These mixed feelings of anxiety and expectation swirled within me as I faced the prospect of meeting him again. But my apprehensions proved correct. Mike was as unpleasant as ever. His arrogance and presumptuous words remained unchanged, casting a shadow over my mood. At the round table with high school classmates, none of my friends were present, though others tried to engage me in conversation. It was clear they were all close, leaving me feeling isolated. As I mechanically consumed the food and drank during the reception, Mike came to our table to pour drinks and looked down on me with a cold gaze and a smug smile. "So, John, you actually came?" he said. I was taken aback, considering he was the one who invited me. "What do you mean?" "I thought I was invited by you, Mike." "Yeah, I wanted to introduce you to my friends." "Friends?" "Yes, everyone here." Mike got the attention of the attendees. Then he spoke in a mean voice. "This is John. He used to play big with stock investments in high school. Funny, right? Now he's just a part-time worker. He should have invested in himself instead of stocks." Mike laughed derisively, and his friends hesitantly chuckled in agreement. He really is a miserable guy, still deluded about being superior, and now he's hitting 30. Meanwhile, I'm working at a major bank and have a lovely wife. Life's full of lessons. I hope you guys don't end up like John. That's why I invited him as a cautionary tale. Isn't it good to be useful to others? Mike sneered at me. So, Mike invited me to his wedding to ridicule me in front of his friends. His words deeply hurt me, and my discomfort intensified. My anger enveloped me, and I wanted to shout and leave immediately. But considering Mike was the day's focus and the ceremony was supported by many people, I refrained from reacting impulsively and maintained composure. I smiled back at Mike's disgusting attitude and decided to patiently endure the moment. However, my composed attitude seemed to irritate him even more, and he stayed at my table, continuing his taunts. "But you've never had champagne like this, right? Might not even suit your taste, so don't gulp it down. It's unseemly. Did you rush your meal? Your plate is empty already. Don't be so desperate just because you're not used to good food. Want me to share mine with you? While in my stance, no one here is at your level, so you must be bored without anyone to talk to, right? Why not pick a gift then? Oh, but don't take someone else's, one per person, okay?" I harbored quiet anger inside, but maintained a calm exterior. I didn't react to his insulting words, focusing on controlling my emotions around the other guests. "Man, you're not fun at all, not reacting to anything. All right, I'm tired of teasing you. I've got your gift money anyway. You can go home now. It's troublesome having a poor person around." I had reached my limit, unable to bear any more. I was about to leave, feeling that my presence was benefiting no one. Just then, a man approached and spoke to me. "Are you John?" It was Tom, a bank executive from the bank where I deposited a significant amount of money. I had spoken with him before because of the large amount I managed there. He was knowledgeable about investments and felt like an older friend with whom I enjoyed discussing economic matters. "Why is Tom here?" Seeing Tom here was not surprising since Mike worked at the bank where I deposited my funds, and Tom was superior. "Hi, Tom. What a surprise to see you here. I didn't expect to meet you at this place. So, Mike is one of your employees, right? Are you attending as a superior?" "Yes, I am his direct boss. I've been looking after him since he joined, and the woman he's marrying is also our employee. I wouldn't say I'm a matchmaker, but I have a close connection, so I was invited. Do you know John, Mike?" Mike, unable to hide his surprise, interrupted our conversation. "Know him? We've been acquainted for over 5 years. But Mike, I didn't realize you knew John. I don't think you ever had the opportunity to deal with John at the bank." Mike seemed puzzled by the mention of dealing with John at the bank. "Deal with John? We're not acquaintances from work. Actually, we were high school classmates. It's embarrassing to see someone of his age as a part-time worker, but why would Tom know someone like John?" Upon hearing Mike's words, Tom's expression turned stern. Tom then asked Mike with a slightly stronger tone of voice, "John is a part-time worker? What are you talking about? And calling it embarrassing, what's with your attitude?" Deep wrinkles formed between Tom's brows. Under Tom's sharp gaze, Mike seemed flustered. "It's just, you know, he used to pretend to be an investor in high school, but now he's just a part-time worker. Isn't that pathetic?" "I don't understand what you're saying. John is currently engaged in stock investments. He's one of our bank's premium clients, having deposited a significant amount with us. The exact amount is confidential, but if John were to withdraw his deposit now, it would affect our bank's cash flow significantly. Do you understand that, Mike?" Hearing this, Mike widened his eyes and stammered a response. "That can't be true. At this point, it became difficult to keep hiding the truth. I preferred not to make my wealth public, but to resolve the situation. It seemed necessary. Moreover, reaching my limit patience, I thought it was time to teach Mike a lesson. Sorry, Mike, but it's true. I've always said I was a part-time worker, but that was a lie. I'm actually a full-time investor, doing quite well. I've even been interviewed for magazines as an investment professional. Haven't you seen it? Are you kidding me? You're pulling a prank to surprise me, right? Wow, you got me. Mike looked at Tom with a tight smile, but Tom's expression only grew sterner. It's not a prank. I didn't want to boast, but I guess I have to show you. Want to see the amount I manage and how much I've deposited in your bank. I pulled out my smartphone, opened the app, and showed Mike my account balances. Upon seeing the amount, Mike's eyes widened and he began to tremble. His complexion grew increasingly pale, creating a striking contrast with the tuxedo he was wearing. What? How is this possible? It seems you misunderstood something till now. John is far more successful than you think, but even so, your behavior towards him has been unacceptable. Have you done anything else? Faced with the question, Mike likely reflected on his past treatment of me. He muttered incoherently, struggling to find the right words. It appears you did. Do you understand now how accomplished John is as an investor and how embarrassing your conduct has been? Mike replied in a fading voice, Yes? Then you should apologize right away, Mike. Otherwise, both you and our bank might suffer. Mike took those strong words from Tom and apologized to me. John, I'm sorry for everything I've done. Please don't withdraw your deposit. Don't worry. I've been trading stocks for a long time. Controlling emotions isn't that hard for me. And it's true, the food and drinks at the ceremony were good. My words made Mike feel at ease, but I continued. But listen, not just for today. You need to reflect on your behavior moving forward. Break down that mountain-high pride of yours, or you'll surely lose what's more important than a prime customer of your workplace, right? Mike gave a small nod in response to my words of reminder. He then began to make his way around to the other tables to say hello. He had a dark look on his face now, not at all like the groom for his big day. Oh no, I never thought Mike would treat John like a part-timer. Mike is in trouble. Well, I call myself that, so it's not surprising that he would believe that. Is that so? It shows a severe lack of judgment. He got the job through parental connections, and his shallowness is evident. Looks like you have some tough training ahead for him. I am concerned about his future. Perhaps I should send him to a regional branch for some real experience. That might be a good idea. I agreed, and we shared a laugh over drinks. We talked about the recent economic situation and the future of growing companies in the United States. I realized again that engaging with people through the investment topic suits me best. I was reminded of that. I declined the invitation to the after party, opting to catch a taxi home. The night view on the way home from the wedding brought a quiet calm to my heart. The view from the car window was like a reflection of my inner self. It was true that the various emotions I had experienced during my reunion with Mike had shaken me to the core. Amid the flickering city lights and quietly shining stars, I found myself pondering my life. I realized that I was now 28 years old. It was the age at which my classmates were getting married. Since my college days until now, it's not that I haven't had relationships with women. I've had my fair share of dating and romantic experiences. At least I believe so. Yet, my heart has always been dominated by stock investing. It was more selfish than any woman I had ever met, and I was unable to read its feelings. However, I was crazy about such a stock, who smiled kindly at me as much as I faced it. Meanwhile, my parents have aged. My dad, who used to talk about stocks with me all the time, nowadays is always talking about how much he wants to see his grandchild. Considering this, I realize that thinking about my marriage and children is something I should do. However, first things first, I need to find a girlfriend. The journey ahead seems long, I thought to myself, and laughed a little. The quiet of the night outside the taxi warmly enveloped my heart. With such expectations of the future and a little bit of anxiety mixed in, I made up my mind to walk down the road to that future.